Checking, checking, checking. All right, guys, I think that we're back, but let me go and check on YouTube. Somebody give me a holler if we are back. Hmm.
Well, on the YouTube Seahorse Whisperer page, and it doesn't show you as live.
I have no idea what the problem might be. Kevin, any thoughts? I'm pretty lost
And
here.
going to the Facebook page just says
Kevin, any
it's got the
thoughts?
Facebook and
Oh,
live
I'm pretty
videos there.
lost here. Okay, well, we are back on YouTube. Salty just let me know and I can see it myself. Guys, I should have had this pulled up. I really apologize. Let me make sure we're still good on Facebook, that we've come back up. Yeah, apologies. I don't know. I don't know what happened. Hey, Kevin, I have a question for you if you're still sitting there. You are? No, Kevin had to go. Okay, we knew he had a meeting. That's okay. All right, so I am looking, just pausing one more sec, guys, on making sure that we're back on Facebook. And we are. I'm looking at my phone and talking to no one. Awesome. Okay, so it looks like we're back. Yeah, please let me know if we have any more problems. Edson, apologies. You know what I didn't think of is I hope, because I restarted, I hope that it's the same chat. It looks like it is, but no, I guess that wouldn't be, would it? So let me reopen the chat to see if that helps. And then I'll do this. Sorry, everyone. Gotta love them technical difficulties. Always fun, always fun. 10, 9, 8. Oh boy. All right. So I'm going to put that link up again. It's still the same link. And you guys just let me know that we're still good in here. I hope nobody's stuck anywhere. I'm so sorry. Anyhow, all right. So as you were saying, Ray, because I think we're back good. As you were saying, you like certain species and not others, and totally hear
Well, some
you.
of them I don't like the others,
Well,
uh,
right.
like the Combs and the Angustus. I would like to try them again if I was younger and in better shape, but um, the Angustus I can't get anymore anyway. I got those from Australia quite a few years ago. Um, I've had well, my first barbs that I got, they were from Australia as well. I got the barbs in the Angustus, and oh, I can't think which other one. I think I got some Redi from them too. That was from Mick Payne in when he was operating in Australia.
Hmm.
I, I forget what the name of his seahorse business was then, but I know he tried to sell it after I had bought my order, and he wasn't having any luck selling it, so he wanted to get into some other stuff, and so he just closed it up.
Gotcha. I,
But
I didn't even know of them. Go on.
yeah, well, that's quite a while ago.
Gotcha.
Uh, early early 2000s. So I'm guessing it might have been around 2005, 2004, something like that.
See, that's what I love that you have all of this information because you've been doing this for so long and you know all of these people and who did good and who did bad and how things have changed. It's really fascinating to me, and I just I
Actually, most times I can't even remember his name. I keep I know it was Doctor something, and I'm sitting there trying to think of it, and I can't get it out. But today it just showed up on the end of my tongue.
Hey, works for me. I'll take it. And I did see the comment, Edson, Reef Dudes has sabotaged me. Go figure. Darn Reef Dudes. No, I'm just kidding. He's great. And, if sometimes his stream goes over, and I totally get it. So, people can jump back and forth, or, visit me later, whatever. It's cool.
YouTube is frozen again on the picture.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
It's got a circle going around and around.
It's not on my end.
Facebook's still working.
Guys, are you having trouble Salty, can you tell me if we're having trouble on your end? Because my end shows it working. I'm just, oh gosh, guys, I'm so sorry. My reef dudes really did. Uh-oh, and
Facebook works for me.
okay, good, Kevin. Very nice, very nice. I don't know what's going on. I'm sorry, guys. Um,
The stream is still working. Yeah, where you
okay.
type out the messages.
Well,
But
we're just gonna roll with it. If anybody starts really having, can't see, just please let us know. And I do tape these, so if anything good happens, I'll be sure to make sure you guys see later. I don't know what's going on, so do the best I can. Hi, Living Garbage. Hi, Loyan. Hi, Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch said, I think that my beta, however you pronounce it, has dropsy, and my parents refused to help me get some things to help on account of it being just a fish. Aw, I am so sorry, dude.
what's dropsy?
Okay, it's been a long time since I did freshwater. I believe that Kevin, correct me if I'm wrong. Dropsy is when they, what? Actually, you just tell us, because I'm going to get it wrong. Sir Kevin, I'm calling on your expertise.
He's muted.
And he dropped off and left me. It's okay. All right. Okay. You know what? He had a meeting, and I knew he did. It's fine. I'm actually going to do this
Okay.
because I don't want to say it wrong. I think I'm confusing dropsy with something else. So I want to make sure that I tell you correctly. And Living Garbage said the buildup of fluid in the swim bladder. Right. Is that equivalent? Well, I still am going to look it up because I want to be certain because I'm thinking that it relates to something that we see in seahorses too. Not the same at all, but just the same symptoms type thing. So let's take a look. But and I believe Nintendo Switch. What were you advised? I'm curious. What were you advised to treat with? Because when I had a fish with dropsy a very very long time ago, I was told that there was no real treatment. So let me know what's going on. Um,
What symptoms does it show?
all right,
Maybe
so
they that.
maybe I mean that very well could be it, and I think that sometimes we treat because and hoping that it's not dropsy. But hey, thanks, Salty, awesome. And if you get time, if you're not babyfied or busy, feel free to jump in and let us know how you're doing, what's going on. Okay, here we go, folks. Education time. Dropsy is a disease in fish caused by the buildup of fluid inside the body cavity or tissues. As a symptom rather than a disease, it can indicate a number of underlying diseases, including bacterial infections, parasitical infections, or liver dysfunction. So, Ray, what I was thinking of the whole time is when we see this in seahorses, when they're like either, when there's buildup of those fluids. So I believe lethargy. I'm gonna look for sure, but
Might be
um,
just term internal organ failure.
right, and I believe I've seen it a lot, like in betas. Where I don't Nintendo Switch. Please correct me if I'm wrong, because we're kind of out of our field here. But I believe they kind of blow up. Right, they get like fat-looking stomachs. I believe because of the fluid buildup, and kind of don't swim very well. Um, so that's what I'm thinking. Like I said, that's not really my area of expertise. I'm so sorry, and neither Ray's neither. So Nintendo Switch, yes. So I'm curious though, what you were advised to treat with. You're kind of teaching us here tonight, so I would love to hear what you were advised to treat with. And I'm so sorry that your parents feel that it's just a fish. Have you ever had that situation, Ray, where people think you're kind of crazy for caring so much about seahorses or fish?
People think I'm crazy, period, but before I even got into this.
Well,
Actually, I've been into fish since mid 50s. I haven't been without fish since that time, but it was always freshwater up until January of '94 when I switched over to the saltwater. And then the seahorses, that journey started in 2002.
Gotcha. Um, I'm sorry. I was actually looking down really quickly because I was looking at the treatment that the internet um, said for dropsy and Nintendo Switch. If you ever do get back to me on antibiotics help. Okay, because I'm trying to remember. I'm gonna look it up. I hate googling while we're live here, but I remember something about making a quarantine tank and possibly like a brackish water, but let me be sure. um, because I don't want to tell you wrong. um, with Let's see what I get here. Anyhow, and yeah, Ray, I hear you. People thought I was. Uh-oh, somebody jump in. People thought I was nuts before I ever started fish, but I do totally get that a lot. I have I have literally called my work and said, "Listen, I'm gonna be late because my seahorse just had fry." And they're like, "What? What are you? That's a fish. What do you care?" And I've left work early in order to get to Indianapolis, which is like an hour away from where I live, to get food because I don't like my local stores and they close at a certain time. So I've literally left early to go get food for the fish, and people luckily I work at a place where they're very understanding, but people think I'm absolutely insane. However, as soon as they finish thinking I'm insane, they're like, "What? You keep seahorses? Oh my gosh, how cool, how hard." You know how that goes. Um, all right, so, anyways, okay, you know what? I was right. And I'm sorry, we'll get back to seahorses in just a second, sorry. But it says move the sick fish to a hospital tank, add 1 teaspoon of salt per gallon of water in the hospital tank, and feed really high quality foods. Now, depending on the level and whatnot, and what the underlying problem really is, as you already, indicated, if it's bacterial or if it needs antibiotics, that kind of sucks. But um, I remember doing that and I remember that working for me. So you might want to try it if you don't have any other alternatives. Just Google using salt to treat a betta with dropsy and you'll find it talking about using the salt in a hospital tank. And that did work for me. So, anyhow, and is that what Edson was saying? You can try Beta Fix. Okay. Now, I do know. It's been a long time, but I remember like some of those Beta Fit, or if I'm saying it wrong, also guys, I apologize. Beta, whatever. I know that some of those are tea tree oil, and there's a lot of mixed opinions about tea tree oil. So just do your research is all I'm saying. The salt in a hospital tank, I believe the reason that I chose to go that route is because it just wasn't positive what was going on, and I wanted to take the most natural and, safe type way. So I'm not advising you, I'm just telling you that's what worked for me. All right. And all right, so what else is going on in the crowd, guys? What do we want to talk about tonight besides my amber orange wine? uh, let's see. Yes, I get called a nerd fish. Salty Reef gets called a fish nerd. Yes, of course. I have no doubt. And Loanne, am I pronouncing you wrong, ma'am? I'm sorry if I am. Loanne said macron, I think, too broad
American
spectrum.
too.
Marison. I'm sorry. Thank you. Marison.
There was a
Thank you.
Marison one and a Marison two. One was for yeah, one type of bacteria, gram
Right.
negative, and the other was gram positive. I forget which one was which now, but I used to use it many, many years ago. But now here in Canada, you can't buy antibiotics at all.
At all?
Nope.
I know they cracked down. I know that even like formalin is really hard to get here now, but not at all. Wow, that's really. How do people treat if they have a problem?
Uh, some still have a few things left from when you could get it.
Mm.
I haven't needed any for a long time, so I have remnants sitting around here. And people say, well, it's probably expired now. Well, the truth is that most fish medications that were antibiotics were actually human um, medications that expired, and then they sell them off so that the pet industry uses them
Oh, geez. That's kind of
because
scary.
they have legal constraints and have to put expiry dates on. But in fact, they don't expire in those time periods.
Wow. Now, I remember a big controversy because people were buying fish medications here in the US, anyways, where people were buying fish medications because they couldn't afford to, like, or didn't want to go to a doctor, and people were using them as antibiotics. I know that that was one of the problems here. I hadn't heard anything that you just said. That's crazy. It is pretty kind of scary because I believe it. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but I believe that at the time when all these meds started coming out and such, that the industry wasn't as regulated as, say, for humans. And so they could put different things in, and probably what Ray's saying, that's really, wow.
Well, the main reason we banned it here in Canada is just for the fact that it's promoting the resistant bacterial growth. So we're getting to the point where there are treatments that have been used no longer will work,
Right.
and it's very
Resistance.
difficult to come up with something new.
Right. No, I mean, I hear you. I really do get how big the problem really is, and resistance is a huge, huge fear. I just want to really quick say, hey, Christopher, we love when you do, when you're able to jump in. Thank you so much, and I hope you're doing well. Let us know if anything new is on your end. Um, and hi, Harkins Aquatics. Welcome, welcome. Harkins Aquatics said that he tries to use more natural cures like hyposalinity and hypersalinity. And what's funny is that that's what I was just rambling about a moment ago, is that I remember using like salt, and I actually looked it up and mentioned that possible treatment. I didn't know you could go the opposite direction, didn't know that. So interesting, would love to hear more about it. And a lot of preppers by fish meds, right? That's kind of, they can put things in, you never know what's really in there. It's pretty scary. And let's see. Oh, and another thing I wanted to say to Nintendo Switch is, again, research, Google, better than Google, even do real research. But anything I say, this is not my area of expertise, so make sure you follow up and look up the information. But I know with freshwater fish a lot, I know I'm thinking of certain species, but a lot of times we would try to feed like peas too, when a fish was bloated, because it could be due to the diet that they were on. I'm sure you know more about what's going on because you know what the fish eats and etc. But just throwing out some ideas because I feel terrible for you, but there are some natural remedies and sometimes they work better, um, in my opinion. And I'm glad I pronounced your name correctly. Oh, and Nintendo Switch said that the fish is also discolored, but he swims fine. Interesting. And yeah, I'm wishing you well. Please update us, let us know, because I feel terrible for you, but I hear you. And let's see. All right. So, anything that you guys in the audience wanted to discuss, share, talk about, please comment, let us know. I wasn't going to make this a very long one tonight, but yeah, we're here. If you guys have any questions or thoughts or want to chit chat about something, and if we don't know, I'll look it up, eh? And I can usually tell you at least if it's a terrible idea, I can usually at least do that. But anyhow, all right, let's see, Ray. What else can I ask you? Um,
Well,
what
it
was,
stopped snowing here anyway.
what'd you say?
It stopped snowing.
It stopped snowing, really.
Yeah.
How long's it been snowing?
Well, just a bit this afternoon, but the main stuff's supposed to start sometime overnight.
Oh,
At the most, with the ground wet, I don't expect much will stay, but actual snowfall is probably only going to be about an inch and a half.
Wow. Are you someone who actually do you like snow?
To me, it's an irritation.
Yeah.
I
See.
have to shovel the snow for the driveway, and I have to shovel off the grass so Skylar can eat grass, that kind of thing. So it's a nuisance.
Gotcha. Um, Harkins, I just saw your request for an email link. I'm headed over to Google. My computer just works really slow when I'm trying to do 3 things, 30 things at once. But when it does come up, hopefully I've got your email saved. I think I do. I'm pretty sure. And if not, message it to me on Messenger, and I will shoot you a link right away because we'd love to hear how you're doing. And um, so it's not snowing anymore. That's good, but ooh, it just reminds me that winter is coming. Ugh, sigh. It's getting cold here. I don't like it. Don't like it at all. Oh man. No, and I bet it gets really cold where you are, right?
Not really. We're
Oh.
probably um, because I'm in southwest Ontario, we're probably the closest to the south of any part of Canada.
Mm.
So, um, like, we'll get temperatures. Well, I think too much in terms of centigrade most of the time now, but in the wintertime, well, uh, it's seldom we'll get down to minus 20 centigrade. Um,
Hmm.
right now, what we have coming up here, our highs are going to be in the range of 1 to 2 degrees centigrade, and a couple of days of being minus 1 or 2. I think one day they're projecting -4. Well, that's again, that'll be just maybe about 28 degrees Fahrenheit. That'll be
Gotcha.
our high. That'll be our highs, and the lows are probably closer to 20 degrees. But that's a bit abnormal for this time of the year for us. Normally, we should be a little bit higher.
Hmm.
I just had to close down my greenhouse because I can't afford to heat it. So I took the tomatoes out and I got them stored in the house here. Uh, let them ripen up and finish off that way.
I'm so jealous. Not that you had to close it down, of course, but I want a greenhouse so bad. Oh, that is. Do you love it?
Oh yeah,
Oh man.
originally 40 years ago, I built some structures and they were just 2 by 2 frames, and then I'd put construction plastic over them, and I'd put 55-gallon olive barrels inside and fill them up with water so that in the cold weather in the spring and then again in the fall, the heat inside the plastic gets quite high. It can be 0 or be a little bit below, and it'll get up to 30 or 40 degrees centigrade uh, inside that plastic enclosure. That heats up the water. Then at nighttime, when it gets cold, the water in that um, barrel gives off heat to keep things from freezing.
Wow.
So you can extend your season. You can get an early start on it, and you can keep things going later.
Very cool. I got to get started, like literally start, but that's really cool. That you have found ways to extend the season. Very cool. I am seeing your comments, guys. Cheryl said it was almost 80 degrees this morning, and it's in the 20s by Monday. Man, oh man, I'm telling you, that's how it is here. It's like up, down, all around. You walk out and you're like, whoa, what? It's freezing. And then it's warm the next day. It's insane. And I see you guys are talking about ammonia or something. I kind of missed the topic, so I know Cheryl is awesome and she's probably handling it. So I'll just let you, Cheryl. But if there's any questions, shout or wave or something. Um, and
Well,
who just joined? Let's see. Nobody. Go ahead. What, Ray?
I just got to leave, feed the seahorses. My alarm just went off.
Okay, perfect timing. I think Harkins just joined us. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. What's up with you lately?
Oh, busy, busy. I'm actually out working right now. I'm just about heading home.
Nice. What did you have to
So,
do today?
uh, I have a different job. I do pest control in
Oh,
Nevada. So, no
gotcha.
fun fish stuff.
Aw, bummer. Anything new that's happened since we last had you on whether in your personal or something you've seen?
Uh, it's been busy. Like, the fish business has been busy. We did like 3 custom tanks last month, so that's always a headache.
I mean, but that's good. That's
um, it's funny. Sometimes you make more money on just the stuff that's not special
sure.
because you're less likely to run into something that you're not
Makes
prepared
sense.
for, I should say.
When you get a custom job, do you like what do people usually want? I don't want you to give the details of your customers, but I mean, do they want like just a certain layout or specific what?
So we do a lot of like large cylinders, which are like a total uncommon kind of thing in the industry.
Hmm.
So those obviously all have to be like cut. Um, and luckily I have like an acrylic bender that's probably only like 3 miles from my shop, so that's that's been a lifesaver in
I bet.
finding somebody that's close enough I can just drop in if I need to, questions or whatever.
Cool.
Um, but like we're doing a weird L-shaped reef right now, and figuring out the flow in an L-shaped reef is really hard.
Mm.
Like I'm seriously concerned about dead spots and stuff like that because the customer doesn't want any pumps on the walls, so it has to be all like internal, and so that's always a challenge when there's additional challenges, I should say.
Yeah, I remember I realized last week that I talk really loud on this stream, so I'm going to try to lower my voice, guys. You can always tell me to shh. Anyhow, I remember do you remember the drop off tanks? I always wondered if flow would be an issue in those. Have you done any of those kind of tanks too?
So, like, I have a goal of putting a triple drop off about 485 gallons in my Nevada residence, and I have probably spent 4 to 5 hours in just trying to analyze the flow
Mm,
patterns that would happen, and trying to decide, do I want a rounded front because it might help with the flow, or a square front to help with the flow. Um, but my plan is actually to use like, hold on 1 second.
okay, no problem. I see in the comments. I didn't really catch what you guys were here. Let me try to pause him real quick. Uh, oh, I don't know how. There we go. Um, I have no idea how to pause him, you guys. I'm sorry. Oh, mute, mute, mute.
Was I really loud?
Oh no, I just heard a bunch of back and forth. That's okay. But I wanted to say really quick. I didn't really see the entire conversation, but I saw Cheryl advising Fluval. I'm sorry, advising Fritzheim, Turbo Start 900, and Salty Reef. Of course, Aqua Vitro, I believe it was, and Aqua Vitro Seed. I'm sorry. Yeah, love those products. You guys are having this whole conversation without me killing me, but no, I agree with Cheryl always. Okay, so what? Anyways, oh no, did I lose Harkins? I think I did. Well, come back when you can, sir. I'm sorry. And Cheryl, why is Cheryl mentioned that on the Fritz website, they have a list of dealers, and Algae Barn carries the Turbo Start 900, and she let's see. She said that it's superior to the 9. Cheryl, can you let us know in the comments why it's superior? I remember hearing that, but I don't remember why it was superior. So let me know. I'd love to hear. And so yeah, you guys. Oh, okay, I think Harkins is back. But yeah, I don't know if you guys missed when I first started rambling at the beginning of this, but I'm trying desperately to decide whether to push forward and finish my breeding setup and start breeding seahorses again because I really do love it and miss it, or if I want to put my money, time, and effort into just making a couple of really spectacular big tanks and minimizing all the little tanks around my house. So give me your opinions. What do you think would be better, for the channel? Because I think I'm not sure how much of an impact I would make as, a small time breeder. I just love it. I always just did it for myself. But I think I can make one heck of an impact with some really kick butt tanks. So what do you guys think? And Harkins, you're back. Okay, I'm sorry. So what were you saying, sir?
Oh, I've done a lot of research on those drop off tanks, and so the biggest challenge for me is with wanting a tank that thick is I'm gonna make it acrylic because I know a lot of people don't like acrylic, but I love it. I love the fact that you can just fix it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If it gets scratched, but we're actually looking at pouring out sections so I can put MP60s down towards the bottom of the tank to get flow down there.
Mm.
So you actually router out the diameter of your MP60 backing, because an MP60 only will go on I think 3/4 inch. So you have to take at least 1/4 of an inch off.
Wow.
So, but yeah, I wanted to do a different. I was gonna do like a 60 on the very bottom, a 40 in the middle, and then two 240s on the back wall.
I mean, that's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see it. And you'll have to let us know what you figure out for flow, because I've always thought I saw those unique shaped tanks and unique, ideas, and I'm always just like, whoo, that would be so hard to get the flow right, and just, I don't know. I just could see me messing it up.
I think a lot of it too, though, is picking the right coral for the right area. So there are different corals that lower flow,
Sure.
areas. So, I was honestly contemplating about just doing NPS down in that area.
Oh, that's nice.
Because almost all the food and everything would drop down to that end. So it would almost become like a feeding well.
Yeah, that's a really kind of a good idea, I think. I can't wait to see what you do with it.
Yeah, that's a project of patience, I say.
Sure.
Because every time I think I'm like, oh, I think I have a free enough schedule that I could dedicate some time to myself.
Sure.
It doesn't stay that way.
Gotcha. Hey, I'm curious, since they're chit-chatting about seeding a tank and cycling tank and products that do it for you, I'm curious because we have come a long way from the day where people had to really be afraid because all of the bacteria in a bottle was a bunch of crap. Today, there are truly good products that either do or assist cycle a tank. Now, it gets touchy when you're talking about Seahorse tanks because they're just, in my opinion, more sensitive. But when you're talking about a reef and stuff, Cheryl has made the comment that she just truly believes that Fritz is superior, and I actually probably agree with her. But I'm curious, what do you typically use, or do you use any of those products?
So, I will openly say it depends on if you need a tank today or you have a little bit of time. If you need a tank today, I would say use Fritz.
Gotcha.
If you have a little bit of time, and you can put water in it and you have your rock and stuff like that, I would say I truly I'll dose like a Microbacter 7 and some Dr. Tim's at the same time.
Right. I forgot about Dr. Tim's. That is, yeah, that's been my go-to forever. But Fritz is really catching up. But anyways, yeah, no, I hear you.
I've never used anything like that.
You know what, Ray? I'm curious, as someone who's never used anything like that, and I
Never.
appreciate that. How long does it usually take you to cycle a tank?
Well, sometimes I don't know. Um, oh, how do I explain this? I don't want people to get to start doing something that can get them into trouble. I do, um, for instance, this guard tank behind me here. I set it up the same day that I got the Seahorses. Okay, and I use Chloramex that I put in, and I
Mm-hmm.
keep testing. And now I didn't run into the situation. If I'd seen ammonia show up after adding the Chloramex, it would mean I would have had to add more in. But I had enough experience at this point to
Mm.
know that I had enough there. And then so I keep checking each day, and if ammonia just started to show a tiny trace, like zero point 0.2 or something like that, then I know I'm getting behind in the schedule, and I add more of the Chloramex, and I
Hmm.
keep like that until the cycle finishes.
So you just block the. I mean, like here in the
Yeah,
U.S. we've got
I just
Prime.
neutralize.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's all it does. The ammonia is still there. It's just in a different form, so it's not damaging.
Right.
And but it
Yeah.
still gets used up, so the ammonia is there to be used to finish the cycle.
Do you also
Yeah.
use like pre-cycle? I'm sorry, Harkins. Do you also use like pre-cycled media or anything? No, really. What were you gonna say, Harkins?
That's kind of like a, like, I would say it's not a bad method. It's kind of what I would call an old school method. Like, I've used that before too. Um, but if you have time, I like, so how we know the tanks are done is, like, when we set a tank up, we'll put a Senai connected to a tablet, and it actually, if you get that card, you can see the ammonia and the nitrate and the nitrite from that card, and you can actually tell when the full first cycle is done.
Hmm.
So that's kind of like a perk of that device.
And
But
I'm sorry, I missed what device did you say?
it's the Senai.
Oh, right. You were talking about that last time. That's right. I remember.
Yeah,
Very cool.
we only have one in the fleet, so it's like more if you have like sensitive fish or something like that, that's where you're gonna use it for.
Hmm.
Like I've had cases where like we have an open-ended list of fish that like we want collected for us, but they're such on the rare end that like
Hmm.
I couldn't possibly keep a tank up all the time empty,
Gotcha.
or even put a damsel or two in it to carry the bio load
Mm-hmm.
and then have to catch it before we get these fish. So it's like, um, like I have a client who openly wants a pair of peppermint angels,
Mm.
and I was like, you're
Wow.
nuts. Like,
Yeah.
like, like, A,
Right.
I can't even openly guarantee what I normally guarantee because like
They're so
they're so
sensitive.
rare. Well, yeah. So like I would say wholesale is not much less than retail on a peppermint angel, to be honest, because
Really.
they're so rare. Like if wholesale is $20,000, you know, there's not a whole lot to be made in profit
Mm-hmm.
on like a regular fish. Like I can't walk in and say I want $50,000 for this fish.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. That's the
Um,
difficulty with those really rare ones.
yeah. So we have a list of 8 or 9 clients that want ultra rare fish that only come up once in a blue moon. And so people know that that's what we're looking for, and
Mm,
if it comes in, they give us a phone call. But sometimes you have to just do it. Like we will use Amquell, you know what I mean, to just
mm-hmm.
take the.
Oh, I think he's.
So
Oh, are you back? Hello?
Yeah, I think we lost them.
Yep, I think we did. Well, I see Cheryl was saying in the comments that she's tried other brands for the cycling method, and let's see, the 900 tends to populate much more rapidly than other brands. Okay, so it's just more aggressive, maybe strains of bacteria, maybe even more might be a guess. Of course, they're probably not going to tell us because that's proprietary, but I'd be curious to know. I'll have to hit them up next time I see them because I love the Fritz crew. Um, and Cheryl said, "Hey Harkins, if you can, okay, now it's equal. Like, sorry, I don't know if you're driving or what, but it was going boom, 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 boom. And anyways, Cheryl said she set up a grow out tank, got it to 8 ppm of ammonia, and added the turbo start, and the tank cleared in less than 3 days. That is freaking amazing. That is awesome. She added over 70 juveniles to the system and never got ammonia. And she also keeps cycled. I know Cheryl was one of the people that did the videos helped me with the videos and actually gave an interview about her methods with K1. So check that out in the video somewhere. And yeah, no, I hear you. And I definitely like Fritz too. All right, we have a question. I'm sorry, and Salty Reef also said keep cycled rubble rock in the sump. Yeah. One of the things that I've always worried about with that, I keep cycled, I personally keep cycled K1, and also cycled rock and rubble rock, but I keep them in tubs. And then the K1 obviously has to be continually moving, but I keep them in separate tubs, not in like tank refugiums, and I just feed them ammonia now and then because of the fact that I'm always so worried about cross contamination. Or I know Harkins had mentioned like when he's cycled tanks, he's put like a damsel or something in the tank to hold the bile load. With me, since I do seahorses, I'm always so afraid of mixing anything, which is kind of ridiculous at times. But bottom line is, I just keep my stuff in separate containers so that I know that it's never touched anything. And if I use it and then have to recycle it, I bleach it first and all that good nonsense. But everything you've heard here is good ideas. Just take it with a grain of salt, everybody. Research. And we have an actual question from Joe. Hello, I have 8 seahorses that when I first got them had beautiful color. Now they all look the same brownish color. What do you need to do? What does he need to do to get them to look a beautiful color again?
Pray.
Okay, go ahead. You answer first, Ray.
Pray.
Pray? No.
Yeah. First thing, Joe, never buy a seahorse for its color because the odds of it remaining that way are pretty slim. Not impossible, but pretty slim. And over the years, many people have tried many different things to change their color. The only thing that I found that helped was to use a sky blue paint and paint the sides, the back and the ends of the tank on the outside. And that blue coloration seemed to work with the reed eye. It didn't work with Erectus for me, but it did with reed eye. If you have rock in the tank, you can almost bet that they're going to darken up. That's not 100% guaranteed, but I'm guessing probably a 90% factor, the rock will darken them. There are people, including me, that tried painting the tanks orange and yellow, and sometimes patterns of a mixture of orange and yellow, trying to affect a change on it. But the only thing I was ever successful with was that sky blue with the reed eye.
Hmm.
So,
Well, here's my answer because it's a different experience for different people. First of all, and what Ray said is correct. It depends on the seahorses, the species. I would even say it depends on the attitude of the seahorses, the specific seahorses, because they do have little personalities. But I did a video, one of my first videos. I think it's the top 10 interesting facts about seahorses, that talks all about why they change color. So check that video out when we're done here. I literally went into the scientific stuff, went a little overboard, but it fascinated me. So if you want to know that stuff, feel free. And the bottom line is, what's worked for me in changing the color of the seahorses, because Ray is right. I have a natural display tank that is just basically rock, that's like a whitish color, silverish color, and then macroalgae, but it's the green macroalgae, and the macroalgae, sorry, and the seahorses are all silver. That's it. No black, no yellow. They're all silver because they're blending in with the rock. And he's right. Um, but when you see the really bright yellow seahorses, either they're just stubborn and they like that color, or it has to do with the species, or someone has, as Ray talked about, put a blue background on the back and the sides of the tank. Something about that blue makes them want to turn yellow. I don't know what it is. The other thing is, you can put ornaments in the tank. I will tell you, stay away from red, because red, for some reason, they must see black and they turn dark if you have red anywhere. So avoid red, go with blue background, and then, if at all possible, put yellow or colorful decorations, whatever color you want them to be. Put that color decorations in the tank. And if you don't want a tank that looks decorated, you want it to look natural, one of the things that I've tried that's been successful before is literally putting the bright yellow corny looking decorations behind the rock, so people can't see it looking, but when the seahorses go to bed or whatever swimming around, they see it and they hitch onto it and they blend into it. So just some ideas. Nothing's guaranteed. He's right. You should never buy a seahorse for color because they will change on you. But to brighten them up, blue background, colorful decorations, and a diet. A lot of people have said that certain foods can affect the color of seahorses. Have you heard that, Ray, at all?
No, I haven't heard that, but when you're just mentioning the red, seemed to make them dark or something, it just reminded me, I guess maybe a year ago when I put a piece of rock in the barb tank here that had a quinoa tree on it. And eventually I ended up with that red macro that you ID'd for me
Yes.
some time ago. Well, as that grew, and it's got to be a fairly good size now, but as that grew, three of the males in that tank have darkened up. They've gone from the yellow now to a sort of a chocolatey brown.
Yep, it's the red. Dan actually is the one that tipped me off to it, to give credit. He's the one that told me, because he experimented with it trying to make red seahorses, and he
Yeah.
can make yellow, but not red because they must see black. And Christopher Carey, who is a fantastic resource and with Seahorse Australia, mentioned that color is tricky. Sometimes even in the same setup, they will just change color over time as they grow and age. Many of the yellow reed-eye that they have changed from yellow to red as they grow. Oh my gosh, I bet they are so gorgeous. Christopher, we're going to have to get together, and you're going to have to come back in here and show off some of these beauties, because plus I think maybe in a few weeks you might have a few announcements for us. We need to have another interview session, I'm thinking. But he's right, absolutely. And Joe, I do hope we helped. I know it's not the answer that is best, but actually, Christopher, if you happen to, hi, I heard a hi, and I will shut up in a minute, but Christopher, if you happen to have any thoughts about feeding, because I just know I've read and heard many times that certain foods can affect color. So if you know more about that, please let us know. If not, I will research it, guys, and remember what I read and tell you next week. All right, who said hi?
Oh, it's
Harkins?
Harkins.
Okay, I'm sorry, sir. I thought we lost you. Go ahead.
No, I muted myself because
Okay.
I'm not super knowledgeable in this area. But in general, with fish of any kind, feed quality is always something to consider for better color. I know, I want to say it was the breeding program in Hawaii
Hmm.
for seahorses. They
Okay.
use like a very specific,
Mm-hmm.
like red colored shrimp to trigger breeding,
Yep.
but it
Ocean
also
Rider.
apparently, but it also apparently like gives them very vivid colors, but they think it's specifically to do with that shrimp.
And they're probably right. I remember when I went to the MBI, which is the Marine Breeding Initiative conference last year, I believe. They had a speaker that talked about, I'm going to pronounce this wrong. I always do. Exanthe. Oh, help me out, Harkins. What am I thinking? It's exanthen something or other. It's a coloration thing they put in food. I mean, it's not a color. All right, I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna shut up till I know what I'm saying. But
So,
yeah,
so I can't remember what it's called exactly, but a good example is New Life Spectrum makes a product that's specifically to brighten up reds, and I think it's like Nutra Red or something, but it
mm-hmm.
has whatever that thing you're talking about to
Exanthen or something like that. Go on.
it's to enhance specifically red colors
Yep.
in fish. But yeah, no, there's a lot of really unique things that you can, if you can isolate that very particular thing that causes that, you could possibly bolster the color by, I don't know, fortifying your feed or something like that
Mm-hmm.
with it.
Yeah, it was actually New Life Spectrum that spoke at NBI, so that's funny. And let's see, Christopher mentioned that even changing your lights will affect coloration. Absolutely,
Oh, yeah.
Dan and I argued about this once, but and he's always right. So I probably exaggerated, but that's what happened to me. Is I literally changed my lighting trying to make macroalgae happy and grow macroalgae, and my male seahorse
Pissed
did
off the
not
seahorse.
like it. What'd you
Yeah.
say?
I said, and you pissed off the seahorses.
Oh yeah, I did. He was.
Well,
The others were okay. The male just got pissed. But what were you gonna say?
well, and are 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 all your seahorses captive bred?
They are the only two that I have that are not captive bred. Actually, I only have one left, but were my original, very first seahorses that I didn't know better. So yes, I do have all captive bred.
Because like I've been around a long time, and they've always said like if you can try and find out what depth those were captured at, it was always like a big perk because you kind of knew the level of light intensity they were used to.
Sure. Then no,
You know
that
what I
makes
mean?
sense.
Like,
Yeah. Go ahead.
and obviously, like if a species is at 60 feet and that's where they're primarily catching them, I mean the light intensity at 60 feet is 100%, almost 95% different than the first 6 feet of water. So it's like that's something to consider too. But I know we've gotten away from that, but I can't imagine that genetic trait has disappeared.
Right.
You know what I
No.
mean?
Yeah. I'm sure. I'm sure you're
Just
right.
because it's captive bred.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. There's something I'm guaranteeing it. There's something about lighting. I just can't specifically say, oh, this type of lighting will make them color up or not, because I really don't know that in depth. I mean, I don't know, just very bright lighting, they don't seem to care for. And another thing to consider when you're talking lighting is that if you get really intense lighting, LED is always going to be better, but still there's heat. There's just, you get intense lighting, you got heat, then it's heating up the water, blah, blah, mess. Anyhow, Cheryl said years ago she had ruby red erectus female that never changed color. Wow. But you think she was a hybrid? Gotcha. Some for some reason the reed eyes seem to really have some fabulous coloration that doesn't leave. I will agree with you. And Christopher Carey says there's so many developments to talk about. So guys, everybody in the audience, if you want to hear what's going on with Seahorse Australia, we got to bug Chris, say come next week, or plan a week to come. We want to hear what's going on. I'll get with you on the side, Chris, but I'm excited. I already know fabulous things are coming. I'm excited. And
Well,
Cheryl's
I'm going to step out for the night, but thank you guys for letting me talk.
Yeah, no, hey, Harkins, I didn't let you talk very much. I'm sorry. Did you want to say anything before you go? I'm so sorry.
No, I know that we talked about like hyposalinity, hypersalinity.
Yeah,
So, so you were like, oh, I don't know about hypersalinity. So I consider hypersalinity when you're dealing with freshwater fish and treating them with salt. So, it's that ppm increasing their salinity in like a freshwater tank can help relieve some of the bacteria because they can't foster in such environments, I guess I would say.
well, thank you for explaining that. And again, I'm sorry I've been so yippy tonight and rambling on and on. We'll have to schedule another time for you to come in too, that you're available and share what more about what's up with you. But we appreciate you jumping in.
Well, you got my email. Send me an email and we'll try and set up a date.
Yes, sir. I sure will. Thank you. And we want to hear more about Mazda Magna stuff too. So, all right, I'll see you later. Thank
No
you.
problem.
All right.
Okay.
Bye. And then, all right, back to comments. So, Chris, yeah, I'll talk to you inside. Cheryl said all the brown comes with yellow stripes that I have ever had turn yellow or white with dark stripes within a few months. Wait, let me reread that. All the brown comes with yellow stripes that I have turned
That,
yellow or white with dark
that
stripes.
you were talking about to feed them for coloration.
Yes, you find it?
Yeah, well, it's on Dan puts it in his food.
Oh, go
And
figure.
for pronunciation, I just Googled that, and I don't know whether it'll come on there. I'll just
Exanthan?
astaxanthin.
Exact. Yeah, thank you. I'm not even going to try to repeat it, but that's it. You're right. You got it. So, yeah, I just know, like, and that's Dan, he's probably worn down after working, and that's why he didn't jump in tonight as my guest. But Dan of Seahorse Source would be a great person to maybe hit up about feeds because he's made his own and etc. So, Joe, if you're still out there, Seahorse Source has a group called Seahorse Sources Group. And that'd be a great question in there too. But I hope we helped a little bit. And let's see what other things. I don't think I missed. Now all we need is the wine, says D. Hey, come on. No, but I hear you, girl. And how are you? What are you drinking on tonight? And what you up to? And if anybody else has anything in the comments, no problem, Joe. Yeah, we love questions. We tend to go on about them, but we love questions. We love to help. And now that I've jumped around all over the place, yeah, I know. I just saw D jump in. I'm like, yes, what's up, D? Let me know how you are. And Ray, is there anything that I've missed or haven't covered tonight?
What was that?
Anything I've missed or need to talk about? You know what?
Not well. Anything that I've seen posted here, I think you've at some point in time covered it all.
Okay, cool. And oh, I did see one more thing. Oh, Joe said that this channel helped him get into seahorses. That makes me so excited! Yay! I want to see him. Post them on SWS page or jump in next week. We probably won't go much longer this week, but jump into Wine Wednesday on that link anytime and show us those pretties because I love that. That makes me think it's awesome. And from having triggers, even wow, big switch. I'm curious to know. I tell everyone that seahorses are not harder. It's just a different situation. So, what do you think? Am I telling the truth or are they like terribly difficult? You're supposed to say no. And okay.
Joe,
And
the thing I read the second line there.
which one?
Well, it says, by the way, you turned me on.
Oh.
Second line says to seahorses.
Right. I read the whole line, no worries. But Ray's gonna make me blush now. Anyhow, now there was something else I was gonna answer. Oh, one other thing though, when you said the light brighter the better, I personally think it's the opposite. Just my personal opinion. You got to play with it to see. But what happened in my situation is that I did go with a much brighter light, and that's what they did not like. They
I think
liked.
the different spectrums are what affects.
I
not
do
the
too.
so much.
I do too. I just don't know which are which. Do you know what I'm saying? And I don't want to
No.
tell them wrong. So I can say that the light that I got that they did not like was the Fluval 24/7 day night plant light because I was trying to grow macros. So they did not like that. And it was 7,000 Kelvin and I think it was like 8,000. I'm not sure. But it was the Fluval 24/7. And they didn't like it. And let's see. All right. What species of copepods is everyone using for pelagic fry? Any thoughts, Ray?
Well, I used Tisbe, and then there was another one, like Lacustris Nito, uh, Nitocra Lacustris. I can't see the full word in my mind here now, so pronunciation was always a problem with it for me anyway. But they were the first ones, and I switched to Tisbe because the Tisbe were easier to culture. But after that, then I switched to freeze-dried copepods, which was a mix of different sizes and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And it, a lot of them in there, I had to sift out the larger ones because some of them were too large for the red-eye fry.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was thinking when you said it, is that they would be large.
But it did work though using freeze-dried. Mind you, you had to hydrate them first, otherwise they just float on the top.
Right, right. Oh yes, absolutely. Where you have to get them wet, make sure they're kind of soaking in the whatever. I know what you're saying, Ray. Cheryl, because you asked that question, I'm really curious. Two things. First of all, how are you doing? I don't want to say too much without your permission, but we would love to know how you're doing with the newer species and not new to you, but you know what I'm saying. How they're doing and what fry are you looking at? I'm assuming theirs. Yay! And I know that you had so much good luck with the April Cyclops panamensis, and so I'm just curious if they aren't working in this situation or if they're too big or what's going on with you. Let me know because I know that I ran into that too. Where what is the really tiny one? Oh gosh, it's not gonna come to my head now. Does anyone know? It's the same copepod, I believe, that they used on the yellow tang babies. Anybody have a clue? Parvo calinus or something like Parvo. Um, no, I'm saying it wrong. Okay, anyways. Well, the really small ones are really hard to keep. They need this specific gold micro yuckiness. I hate cold drinks, guys. I'm sorry. I know it's like the key to everything, and it's just not my cup of tea. But anyways, the parvos are really difficult to keep for long periods and raise, and they need it super clean, and they got all these light specifications. And so I know Cheryl was having really great luck with A. penamensis, because they don't require live phyto. They're easy to culture in a large number. Yeah, Parvo calinus, yes. And Cheryl, I was just curious if the seahorses that you're currently working with right now, if they've had fry, and if those fry are doing well with the April Cyclops. Just curious. But yeah, guys, that's if you let us know what you're using in the comments. If you're using something different, if you had a different experience, I couldn't agree more on the April Cyclops. Chad from Reef Nutrition is the one who introduced me to that copepod, and they are so much easier to culture. So much easier. I just said, guys, I'm not a culture person, and they are great. Much easier. So definitely give them a shot if you're in a situation and need them. Ray, out of all the species that you did breed and keep and etc., how many were pelagic?
The Cuda and the red-eye. I think the Angustus were too, but I never got them to breed.
Oh. Yeah, I've noticed that the species that aren't really integrated well yet just are just people have to learn what they probably need and like. I know Christopher is a major success in different species, but he
The
can't always
seahorses
share his
that I have
secrets.
came from Chris.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Nice, nice.
I imported them back, about 3.5 years ago.
Okay, you said Australia and it just didn't click in my head. That's so funny. Well, that's really cool. I wish they would have bred, but still really cool to know that.
Well, the first ones were from a different company. That was the one with Mick Payne.
Right,
But now Seahorse Australia is the only one left.
right. I know. It's sad, but they're really great. So,
And they don't have Augustus. Believe me, I looked and I tried.
So, Chris, if you hear this, or next time I see you, I'm gonna tell you we need Augustus, man. We need it. I know that he was. Oh, Chris is still here. Okay, I'll be quiet. um, Chris, we need Augustus. And I can't wait to have you back on the show because I know when we talked last, you really did have some really exciting things coming. So hopefully you'll be able to announce them. I'll email you when we're done or message you. But Chris actually asked, let me go through the comments real quick. Cheryl mentioned she uses reef breeder photons and keep them on the lowest setting, and that works for her. Cheryl, have you noticed that changed anything as far as color? Like from any other light. Uh, you can't drink alcohol. Oh man, I'm sorry, but you're still
Lucky,
invited always, huh?
lucky.
Right? That could be considered lucky. And then Cheryl talks about A. penamensis for sure. She's used them on combs before with very good success. And your current pairs are dancing and pointing. I cannot wait until that becomes a success. I didn't want to say anything until you mentioned it, but I'm so excited. I just can't wait to see that post or hear that news. Definitely come in here and tell us. Share it, point your video at him and show us. And then Christopher Carey asked, "Does anyone know any good books for keeping and culturing macroalgae?" Um, I can't. I'm writing one. No, I can't really think of one off the top of my head. Do you know of any, Ray?
No. Um, I'm pretty sure I came across on seahorse.org one time a post about that.
Mm.
And there was a book mentioned at that time, but for me to try and remember,
Hmm.
I just can't.
Well, guys, if anybody in the audience has read a really good book about culturing macroalgae, please share it. It's interesting that you brought that up, Chris, because I can't believe that there aren't any, and I can't for the life of me think of one. I've seen lots of good articles. I've seen some good websites. I don't. I have not seen a book. There are some scientific ones, but I don't think that's really what you mean. And there are some fantastic books on microalgae, but not macro. I will say that um, no matter what you think of Gulf Coast ecosystems, which for the record, I like them, I use them, I just quarantine macros from them because they're collected and sold. But regardless of, no matter what you think of the company, if you go to their website, they have a marine algae book, is what it's called. And it's really good about the different species. And, it's just it's one of the first resources that I found when I was doing my tank that got all the attention, and it really helped me. I know, Chris, you're already pretty advanced, so it might be a little lower than what you need, but I'll put the link up when we're done because it really helped me. And I'll send you everything I have, or I'll try to post it when I get done. And Chris did
I just Googled and there's a lot of stuff that comes up.
really
Well, the first things that came up are videos. Like the
right.
first one, 11-minute one, and how to grow marine
Uh-huh.
macroalgae planted saltwater aquarium. And next one is best lighting to grow marine macro and saltwater. Uh, the third one, not much help. That one's harvesting macro to control. This is refugium.
Mm-hmm.
But then scrolling down here, there's a lot of stuff there.
Hmm.
Um, even there's a PDF on best practice guidelines for seaweed cultivation.
Hey,
Uh,
that's a good one.
cultivation,
Sorry.
there's a government one, cultivation and conversion of marine macroalgae. Um,
Well, there you go. I honestly can't recommend any of them because I haven't read them. But if you try them out, let us know if they're any good, Chris, for sure. And I did want to mention, too, just one more thing about that is I don't mean to toot the horn of Gulf Coast ecosystems, but the owner, Russ, is really just a nice person. And when I was like I said, when I was reading his website, and I actually ordered from him, and I called him, and we emailed back and forth quite a bit, and he helped me tremendously. And they have some methods that might be more of your up your alley, meaning at the scale that you are at, because he's a business, and he told me some really interesting things that they do there, like using a blue tarp for something or other. I don't want to give their secrets away, but he'll tell you if you email him. So Russ at Gulf Ecosystems, I would definitely recommend him as a resource. No problem. And let's see. Okay, Salty's got to go. You know what? Actually, if no one has anything else, I'll probably cut it too. It's quarter till. We've been going a long time. I've probably kept Ray up past his bedtime. I'm just kidding, Ray. But we will call it for tonight, and I'm gonna get Harkins back here for an interview day sometime. We'll pull Dan back in, and we'll definitely have Christopher Carey up as a guest within the next week or two if he's available. I'll message you when we're done. But
well, I gotta
and
go put CNN on and find out the latest in the Trump saga.
oh Lord, we're not going to get into that conversation here. Wait, Ray, I gotta know. Can you tell me? Are you willing to tell me? Are you yay or nay? I know it doesn't matter because you're where you are,
For
but
Trump,
yeah.
well, a lot of people might be upset to know that I can't understand why anybody would like him. Like here in Canada, most of us think he's just absolutely nuts.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to give my
And
opinions.
again, we have our problems with our politicians too. So
Right. Hey, the last election, we were between a rock and a hard place. And I'm not going to give any other opinions because I try to steer clear of politics because it's such a dangerous topic. But
yeah,
we
we
didn't
have
have
one
good
advantage though,
choices. Huh?
because we have more than two parties. So we are
Right.
in a situation now where we have a minority government, and it takes a couple parties to get together to pass legislation. One party can't force their way and get whatever they want. So
See, I think that's great. What's going on in the U.S. right now is really a travesty, and I don't care. I'm not going to say, like I said, I don't no opinions either way, but I think it's really sad, and it's a big fear of many people that because the Constitution is set up the way that it is, and because the House can just impeach, and I won't go into details, but the bottom line is, it just seems like every year, whoever has the majority doesn't get much done because they're focused on trying to tear the other side down or take out the president. It's been an ongoing, and it's like, what do you think's going to happen next year for Republicans? Or I don't know. I'm going to shut up before I get myself in trouble. But yeah, that's interesting, your opinion. Joe, thank you so much for coming tonight. And Cheryl, thank you so much for coming tonight. Everybody, thank you so much for coming tonight. I'm going to zip my lip about politics. I have no opinion. Love everybody. All right, Ray, say bye before I Happy
there,
Win Wednesday.
night all.
All right, go check CNN. I'll be on Fox News. All right, cheers. Happy Wine Wednesday.